Hi, and welcome to today's program. My name is Marshall Brown, and I'm delighted to be with you today. The topic for our program is developing an effective network. What I'd like you to do as we go through the tips and techniques that I'm going to provide you with is to keep in mind a couple things. One, it's not just about who you know, but it's about who knows you. You want to develop an effective network so that people get to know you and you build relationships with them and they build relationships with you. The other key point I'd like you to walk away with today is that developing an effective network needs to be part of your ongoing professional development. It doesn't just happen when you're in job search. So if you're listening today and you're in job search right now or you're in transition, great. I know you're going to walk away with some points that will help you to develop your effective network. And for those of you that are listening that aren't in job search, even better. Developing an effective network needs to be part of your ongoing professional development. Start it today. Don't wait until you're in job search. Some tips for successful networking. Number one, you've got to be authentic. This really has to come from your gut. This is about telling people about you. So who better to tell those stories than you? Be authentic. Make it come from your gut, not your head. It's not necessarily something you need to memorize, by the way. For some people, they like to have a 30-second pitch prepared. Okay, fine. You do that. I would suggest, though, you not memorize it because you don't know who your audience is going to be. You want to tailor your pitch based to whoever you might be talking to. Know what you have to offer. What skills do you have? What are your accomplishments? What problems have you solved in the past that might be able to help people? When you're talking with people and you are developing your network, avoid the closed-ended questions. You know, the ones that people can very easily say yes or no to. Make them open-ended. Engage people in conversation. Tell me more about you. Tell me about your past. What do you like to do for fun? What are you passionate about? That's what I mean by open-ended questions. And use your active listening skills. Critical when you're networking today. You know, for many people, what they do is they're thinking about the next question that they want to ask, and they miss entirely what the person is actually telling them. Use your active listening skills. Because don't forget, this is about developing relationships with people. I'm not talking about going to an event and passing out 300 business cards. I'm talking about having conversations with people, really getting to know more about them so that they can also get to know you. Here's another tip. If you're not comfortable going to a networking event on your own, then call someone that you know. Ask them if they're going. Go together. And I'll allow them to introduce you to other people that they might know. And one final tip before we move on. What I suggest is you start out with smaller opportunities if you're not comfortable networking. And what I mean by that is engage yourself in your association or whatever groups of like-minded people you're involved in. Get involved on a committee where you might be sitting around and getting to know 4 or 5 people versus going to an event of 300 people. Get to know those 4 or 5 people so that when you do go to the larger events, you already know someone. Take advantage of your association's membership. Starting off with the smaller opportunities to develop and practice your skills so that when you go to the larger events, you already know people. Okay, so you've got some tips already, right? Now we're going to talk about some career networking do's. 1, talk to as many people as you possibly can. And again, I don't mean going around and just handing out business cards. Get involved in conversations. That's what I'm talking about. Engage other people. Start with a small group, maybe 1 or 2 for practice, if you're not comfortable with it, and then you move on to other conversations. Meet like-minded people. I've referenced this already earlier. You want to be meeting people that are doing the kinds of things that you want to be doing. Face it, that's what associations are all about. They're groups of like-minded people. One of the benefits of your membership is to have networking and learning opportunities and professional development opportunities. Take advantage of those opportunities to develop your network. Another tip that I have to tell you, I'm amazed how many people don't know to do this. have a business card. Even if you are between successes or in transition, you still need to go to a networking event with a business card. Many people will say to me, well, Marshall, I don't really have a job right now. So what do I put on my business card? That's not what it's about. You want to have a calling card with your name, your contact information on it. And it's very easy to have one of those made today. You don't go to a networking event today without a business card. And another do that I would like to suggest for you is to organize your contact list. People come to me and say, Marshall, you know, I went to this event and I met all these people. Well, great. What are you going to do with all that? You've got to find a way, whatever works for you, to best organize your contact list so that you can follow up with these people, not just once, but continue the dialogue that you've had with them, whether it be during a workshop, whether it be a breakout session, whether it be a networking event. You want to continue the conversation with these people. Keep track of your contact list. Another career networking do. It's an ongoing process. This is not something you just do once. This is about, as I said earlier, about developing relationships with people. It's about following up with them. It's about finding out what they are interested in as well, what problems or challenges they might have on their desk. So that if you come across an article or a program that you think they should go to, you send them the information. It's an ongoing process. You want to keep in touch with people. Another suggestion for career networking, and this, again, this applies whether you are in job search now or not. When you're at a program or you're at a workshop, add your knowledge to group conversations. And what I mean by that is share your knowledge. Bring what information you have on the subject matter to the table as well. Let other people get to know you. Share your information, share your experience with other people as well. Ask questions. Get involved in group discussions. Volunteer to lead a table discussion. Whatever it might be, whatever you're comfortable with doing, just do it. And I can't reiterate enough, get involved in your association. Join it and get involved. Don't just be a checkbook member. Take advantage of your association's membership. So we've talked about some do's. Let's talk about some don'ts. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to just the people in your Rolodex or your contact list, whatever you want to call it. You don't know who is in someone else's Rolodex. That's why I want you to start out with a small group of people, and then you expand your network from there. And in fact, what I suggest strongly to people is to get out there and talk to people that are doing the kinds of things that you want to be doing. And one of the questions you might want to ask them is who in their network would be good for you to be talking to. You put it out there. I'm not coming to you for a job. I'm looking to expand my network. Make it very clear what your intention is. And your intention is to expand your network. Now, having said that, I also suggest that you not rely on other people to connect you. You have to do this on your own. This needs to be part of your ongoing professional development. You can't rely on others to do this for you. You can rely on other people to help you, but you can't expect other people to do this for you. Make a goal for yourself, for instance, of I want to do one networking event a month. I want to get involved in my association, and I'm going to go to a committee meeting. That's how I'm going to meet people. Whatever works for you, that's what you need to do. For many people, especially today, they think all of this networking can be done on the internet through various social media sites. And I will tell you, some of that can be. But I would suggest that it all can't happen on the internet today. Especially for those of you that are listening that are in job transition, studies show there's only about 25% of jobs that are even getting posted today. So how do you think people are finding out about jobs? It's through their connections. You want to be out there meeting people face to face. Yes, you can use the social media sites, the LinkedIns, whatever sites you might be using, to help you connect with people. But you can't rely on the social media sites for your networking and development either. Don't be afraid to ask for help. People are willing to help each other typically. And if they're busy at that moment, maybe they can't help you right then. But usually people are willing to help each other. They've been there. Don't stop networking. Again, this has to be part of your ongoing professional development. Build it into your plan. Just as you would manage a project or a program, manage your professional development networking. Make a plan to do it and stick to it. Don't forget to thank everyone. People that you're talking to, whether it be a personal note or an email, thank the people that you're talking to. Thank them for taking the time to meet with you and for the suggestions they might have had for you. What I want to do next is share some mistakes or some blunders that I see my clients have when it comes to developing their effective network. First thing is they're not networking when they're employed. I talked about this briefly earlier, but you want to be sure that networking becomes part of your ongoing professional development, which means when you are employed, that you're networking. You're taking the time to do this. It's a mistake if you're not, and I would highly encourage you to get out there and network, even if it's just one event a month. Another mistake I see people make when it comes to networking is that they're continuously asking for things and not giving. When you're having conversations with people, find out what their needs are. Find out what their challenges are. See how you can help them. Give as much as you ask. And even if it's not to that individual, you give to someone else. Another mistake is if you don't follow up. So you want to be sure that you're following up with your contacts. And I mentioned this earlier, you want to keep track of your networking contacts. Keep it organized. Another mistake I see is, and I touched upon this earlier too, is you don't need to have a canned commercial. Make it authentic. It's about you, tell your story. And I would suggest that another mistake where I see people make when it comes to developing their network is they try to do it in a vacuum. They try to do it themselves. Engage other people. People want to help each other. Allow your network to expand your network. So networking isn't easy for everyone. In fact, I would suggest that it's difficult for most people. So here are some tips for those of you that might be listening that tend to be more of an introvert. You change the name. You don't call it a networking event. You call it something else like I'm going to build relationships. Or you call it something else. If that makes you feel more comfortable, then change the name. Go with someone that you know well, that knows you, that can introduce you to people, that you can call beforehand and say, let's go to this event. And then you have fun with it. You meet with them in the beginning, you say, let's go meet a few people on our own and we'll check back with each other in a half hour. Get the other person talking. Yes, you have something to share too, but if you're more comfortable getting the other person to talk first, then do that. And then you share your information as you choose to. Get the other person talking. Joining networking groups where you have the opportunity to meet other folks, other individuals that might be doing the same kind of thing that you're doing. And another suggestion for those of you that might be more of an introvert is to use the social networking sites like LinkedIn, but don't overuse them. Don't rely on them. Certainly, you can use them to connect with people, but practice going out and meeting people. That's what's really going to make a difference when you're developing an effective network. Just a few quick tips on your 30-second commercial that I alluded to earlier. I said don't memorize it. Make it sound natural. Make it authentic. Practice it with people. Don't memorize it. And don't make it sound like your resume. Again, this is a place to show what your value is. So when you're talking with people, know what your value is and be able to express that value. Talk about what you have to offer and how it could help them or people that they know solve their problems. Let's talk about the use of business cards and how you can use them effectively to develop your network. First of all, never leave home without them. Always have a business card with you. Use proper business card etiquette. Don't just go to an event and hand business card out. Go to events, develop a conversation with people, and then provide them. Ask for referrals. Ask the people that you are talking to, who else at this meeting should I be talking to? Who would you suggest I talk to? And then provide them with a business card as well. Maximize every per-chance meeting. What I mean by that is, you don't know who you're going to meet in line at Starbucks that could help you to expand your network. So always have your business card with you. You don't know who you're going to meet at another event that you just happen to run into them. Have your business card with you. Place yourself at the right place at the right time. And a final comment about business cards, and this applies to those of you that might be listening that are in some form of transition and might not have a company business card. Make sure that when you do have a business card made for yourself, that it's professional. It's on a good card stock. I have received way too many cards that tend to be on a flimsy or a lightweight card stock. Don't forget, when you're giving this card to someone, this is about your brand. This is about how you want to be perceived by them. Have a heavy card stock. Have a professional card stock when you present your card to someone. So I hope that I've provided you with some tips and techniques on how to develop an effective network. I'm going to suggest a couple additional resources that you might want to have in your professional development library, or if you want to improve your skills. One is How to Work a Room, written by Susan Rowan. I met Susan years ago. She wrote this book, I know, several years ago, but she really provides some excellent tips on how to work a room and how to do it in a professional manner. Another resource that I strongly encourage people to read, and again, this was written several years ago as well, and maybe some of you have already read it, and I had the pleasure of meeting the author several years ago. Keith Ferrazzi wrote a book about Never Eat Alone. It really provides some excellent techniques on how he and some of his clients have developed an effective network. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I hope to be connecting with you soon.